This is in post headlines. IBAS launches statewide campaign of fitness. Others probe into amnesty reports. Tinubu approves 27 reconstruction. EAC 246 improper registration. Trump Zelensky meeting. Hold news to go at home. Position for narrow him. State Administrator Admin has flagged off wide position campaign to raise awareness and preparedness against flood. Speaking at the launch held at Dr. Obadi International Conference Center in Port Harcourt, IBAS, represented by Secretary to the State Office via Lucky Worika, disclosed plans are on the way to establish the emergency agency to enhance disaster response and coordination. He described the campaign as a crucial step towards mitigating the humanitarian and environmental impact of floods, which often displace and structure, disrupt socio-economic activities, and threaten food security. The sensitization probe was organized by the state flood emergency preparedness management chaired by Professor Worika. The committee comprises representatives from the National Emergency Management Agency, security agencies, and various state ministries. IBAS tasked the to provide residents with actionable information, education, community resilience, and reduce the risk associated with flooding. The State Election announced that it will release parties cleared to participate in the August elections. IEC Michael O'Day made this known during a courtesy visit by members of the House of Representatives ad hoc committee on emergency rule implementation. He assured that the Commission collaboration with agencies is committed to delivering a free, fair, and credible, stressing that it remains focused despite what he described as a sideshow. As part of the ad hoc committee, Professor Julius Bere encouraged RSIEC to strengthen its engagement with key stakeholders that led the Independent Electoral Commission throughout the electoral process. Federal government has condemned the use of children state allegedly out on of a spiritual cleansing exercise. In the press statement signed by the Special to the Women Affairs and Social Development, Jonathan Eze, Minister Iman Suleiman Ibrahim described the act as very criminal and a violation of the Child Rights Act. She emphasized that the administration will not tolerate any form of abuse by those targeted at children. The minister commended the Nigeria Police Force, especially the Command, for its treatment and praised the Director General of the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, Hajia Binta Bello, for promptly deploying her team to rescue and protect children. She acknowledged the efforts of citizens who recorded and exposed the abuse, but that such incidents directed to the PTIP, NAPTIP, or other law enforcement agencies to ensure rapid intervention without compromising rescue efforts or the privacy of victims. Into the statement, the rescued children are currently under protective custody in medical and psychosocial support in line with the Child Rights Act, which has been domesticated across all 36 states of the Federation, affirming the government on the Renewed Hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The minister stressed that there remains to create an environment where everyone can dream and thrive. Two members of the Open People's Democratic Party in the state, including its chairman, Abayomi Teller, two officials of the Electoral Commission, have been arrested in Peru in possession of huge sums of cash, allegedly meant for vote buying in the Remo federal constituency election. The who were said to have been in the early hours today are reported to have provided very useful information to the police regarding their response in the grand plan to bribe election officials and rig the buy. But in a swift reaction, the Ogun PDP claimed Teller was arrested in his cell, what appears to be a calculated attempt in the opposition. The PDP alleged that the move was paved the way for the All Progressives Congress to manipulate election. Kano State Police Command has arrested 188 thoughts. The resolution is currently going on. The command relations officer, SP Abdullahi, confirmed the arrest of the suspects in a telephone interview with the Punch today. He said the suspects were for allegedly attempting to disrupt the election. He said the were apprehended alongside the responsive dangerous, including one pump action gun, 4 locally made guns, cutlasses, and stick others. Meanwhile, hundreds of armed thugs were rounded up by the security of Guide town as they attempted to disrupt the elections into the State House of Assembly in the local government. The President Election Commissioner Abdul Zango confirmed that thugs were moving in Guide arms, but security operatives were on hand and they rounded up and arrested them. Although Zango expressed satisfaction with the situation and the conduct of the election, however, said that some that were rounded up in Shanunu town nearly disrupted the movement, but security quickly to the situation. He said Shanunu was known to be traditionally a volatile area when it comes to things. In the reports we are getting, going smoothly because of the heavy presence of security agents. All Progressives Congress has the independent Aguay constituency run election for Gary constituency state, what it called white corruption. In a statement issued on Saturday, signed by its National Publicity Secretary, Felix Moka, the party said the elections were marred by extreme violence and disruption by armed thugs across several polling units in the affected areas. According to Moka, verifiable reports from Shanunu and Bogwai local government areas and Gari constituency have voters fleeing polling areas with deployed security personnel overwhelmed by the violence, making the prospects of a credible election impossible. He argued that allowing the exercise to continue would amount to endorsing electoral violence and undermining the integrity of the democratic process. The party, therefore, urged the electoral body to immediately cancel the by-election and rerun to protect the sanctity of the ballots and safeguard the country's democracy. Operating arrested a suspected buyer of 25,960,000. This arrest the conduct of Saturday. The operatives of the police in consultation with the Department of Justice at popular Runku Road in Duna Metropolis. Investigate revealed that to that has confirmed the suspect and that would not spare anyone engaged in at the poll. Meanwhile, the company issued the political from option the election. It intelligence some petition response security population centers strategic across the states. Cabinet administration presidential capacity buses which can run on both compressed natural gas and motive gas over the FC administration by the PCN 24 hours of the FC week. This is on behalf of the mandate Secretary of Transport Secretary Chinedu Ele recalled how the promise was made a day earlier when he represented the National Peace Program on gas.
That asked me to program, and when I brought, we're going to do something to surprise what that was NGC and AGO. CNG comes and he said, we can go to promise you made here. It's like, oh, this is to push about you remove because for the that what was times 4 about moving people plus in one person. So Minister has the program that no city can survive or there's more than a good population system.
PCNGI Program Director and Chief Michael Oluwagbemi said the FCT was chosen as a major beneficiary for demonstrating strong support for the gas-powered transport program and investigating heavily infrastructure.
Here today to promise of is was claimed our cost of transportation. If you recall, the Monza CNG initiative beneficiary of Mr. President's policy. Then was certified. Immediately we went to action to identify potential onward beneficiaries of this gets to Nigeria and delivers the promise of Mr. President. Actually, our Federal Capital Territory, having demonstrated great support for this, having shown itself by not votes under the leadership of the Honorable Minister, Mr. the Transport Mandate Secretary, providing the and the team at the major official, deeply honored that right after I made a call, they went out and spoke to the Mandate Secretary. I said, for us, our philosophy at the PCNGI can do to implement as decisions are made. And he said, who is going to confer with the minister back to our
Territory Police Command has arrested suspected criminals and recovered 4 vehicles operates across the country. Following planes by one Mrs. Yemen 23rd. Statement released on the police public relations officer, the command or Kamin reported that of Toro area, Bauchi State, absconded trailer number A after in Ajan. According to the statements, removed tracking devices unaware of a 4-lane tracker which relatives traced over the trailer in Kaduna State, where he said all identification descriptions on the vehicle had been erased with black paint to prevent action. The suspect is currently in court while ongoing to apprehend his accomplices who remain at large. FC task published the criminal in Apo settlement in continuation of its onslaught on criminal hideouts across the capital city. Director of Control, Mr. who the journalist locate the insecurity in Apo and its environs. This area is one of the identified dark spots with elements in the city reported by Mr. area.
At Kash at the sanitation is to read the city of the criminal elements. So this place has been defined as one of the various dark spots. And I recall also efforts were made in the past, but we came in there are credible, verifiable as security reports about where being killed around this place was identified as a dark spot. Is enough for this to continue. So that's why we're here. Sure that we place once and unlike before, come on the shanties. This is the
Security Services Department, FCTA, represented by Dr. Peter, residents of the been compliant with robbery and killing.
We have issues illicit drug and sales and intake. We have armed robbery and even house in this environment. So 2 weeks ago, there's the residents that the criminals use it as a cover. Thank God for the response of the Nigerian police, and we're able to over 50 crime robbers. I'm robbers. The quick from the FCT prevented that attack from snowballing. And we also, some few weeks ago, we have an attack on a major that his life was cut short just because these that reside here might not be the profile to stay with them. And you just have to listen. This is for green who are not going to consider. So green is a good old for. And when people also talk about as economic value, having economic value, you look at it. You bring economic again in threat to lives and of the comes that is can even enjoy any economic value we are talking about, and that is why holistic clearance of the Kashugi to dissipate completely the use of this place as a point for this event. And like you know, the police statistics we have gotten before coming into intact.
Command have recorded their own banditry has successfully rescued 2 kidnapped victims after a fierce with bandits. According to a statement on Saturday by the Police Public Relations Officer CSP Nafiu Abubakar, the rescue operation took place on August 15, 2025 at about 3:05 p.m. during an aggressive patrol around Dankade village district, Danko, Wasago local government area. The officer engaged the bandits in a gun duel that lasted for hours before successfully rescuing 26-year-old Toko Bello of Kembawa village, the local government Kebbi State, 25-year-old Isiaka Abubakar of Bundun village, government area, Fire State. He further said the Commissioner of Police, Kebbi State Command, CP Bello M. Sani, commended the resilience, determination, and professionalism displayed by the DPO team. News on Atlantic Television Network. Back. News Edition Network. Now, Bola Tinubu has the immediate release of 16.7 naira for the construction of the Mokwa Bridge in the state, one side by flooding in the Minister of Information and National Mohammed announced the approval on in Abakaliki after a meeting with the Minister of Works. Today, is currently leading a infrastructure project and citizen engagement initiative across the South. According to the minister, the funding approval demonstrates the Tinubu administration's responsiveness to critical issues. The statement said that Idris emphasized the importance of the bridge, signal connectivity, and praised the swift response of work disaster. He also commended Umahi for immediately dispatching damage shortly after the bridge was away. In his remarks, he described President Tinubu as passionate and attentive, determined to address the infrastructure needs. He further highlighted other infrastructure in multiple regions, signaling what he described as an inclusive national strategy. This includes the recruitment of the Washington 5 state, Lokoja Bridge, permanent of washed away section of the Fico Road in Ebonyi State. The Kefi flyover Jeba in Kwara State, 7 bridges in those states, and a bridge in Kebbi State. Joint certificate the playing with the House on University Education Honorable Abubakar the one Fulata's committee has begun visiting organizations to ensure compliance with legal provisions regarding quality education. The oversight visits are not a witch hunt to a House of Representatives. Investigation into certificates hearing by and journalists. Before the probe panel how he obtained a certificate in tertiary in Benin Republic in less than 6 months, requiring a minimum of 4 years mobilized for national school that had been served previously. He had his passport stamped and received a from the immigration service as he traveled abroad for the study, even though he had not. Fulata noted that the committee visited the Ministry of Education, the Ministry of Interior, the National University, NYSC, among others, within the week. He further noted that while the ministry allows pledged steps to curb certificate forgery and racketeering, matters relating to past abuses would soon be automated. He emphasized any nation that takes education for granted is spoiling with the future and generations unborn. Inspector General of IGV Kayode Betokun has ordered comprehensive institutional review 20 recently published by Amnesty International violation and other security agencies in the southeast. The report was titled of Attacks and Unlawful Killings in Nigeria, meant by the Public Relations Officer DCP Olumiyiwa Jobi in a book that was in line with Ekpetokun's transparency, accountability, and operational professionalism. NPF said it remains to rights citizens. It said it was equally necessary to place on record that previous by Amnesty International have on occasion included factual receipt sweeping generalizations. Therefore, operational evidence and a dedication to institutional integrity review, the force said it will issue a detailed and evidence response in the specific issues raised in the report. Miyeti Allah Cattle Association of has over 15,000 headers and therefore so far outside Nigeria due to the security challenges in the country. Speaking with journalists on the inauguration of the newly elected Kwara State Magban Chairman Alhaji Shehu Gaba Lori, the national president of Alhaji Baba Nglazama said that the Fulani pastors are the worst by banditry, grossly in the country. Zama said that over 4,000 cattle have so far to the Kuro, adding that several of Fulanis have been killed due to insecurity in the country. According to him, there should be a approach that will involve every stakeholder to see challenges bedeviling the people. Zama, who condemned the ethnic of Fulani people discriminate, said if every media cases in the country called for collaboration communities, indigenous Fulani and other stakeholders fashioning out organic solutions. Alhaji England stakeholders to peaceful coexistence in the country. The Fulani leader commended the federal and the state government for the introduction of livestock development ministry in the country. The Congress has disowned the inauguration of diaspora structures supposedly set up in different parts of the world. In a issued in Abuja, the party's national coordinator for diaspora affairs, Mr. Solomon Dalong, said his office had not authorized and endorsed the creation of such structures. Dalong urged party members and the public to disregard the activities, stressing that a legitimate framework would be established after the due conditions and proper procedures. Dalong added that the office of the coordinator would, in due course, unveil a active and properly constituted leadership structure to coordinate the party's diaspora chapters. He appealed for patience and understanding while the process is concluded. The Marketers Association of Nigeria has said that numbering is the reason Dangote Refinery has yet to commence the diesel distribution scheme on Friday, August 15, 2020. Abubakar Mengandi, this in an interview on Friday, recalled that Dangote Refinery it will begin petroleum product distribution nationwide on August 15, 2025. The 650,000 per day refinery is yet to scheme 0.7 trillion annual. Dangote Refinery has stated supply of its 720 billion naira worth of compressed natural gas trucks. Reacting to the development, Mengandi stressed that Dangote Refinery is currently numbering its trucks and will commence the scheme in a week's time. He reiterated that the when it will to refill this. However, the National Oil and Gas Association of Nigeria, the Petroleum Products Retail Outlet Owners Association of Nigeria, have a Dangote Refinery initiative citing massive job loss. Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission is taking bold steps to reclaim the country's dominant position in Africa's oil and investment space after its Africa's upstream inflows plunged from 14 to 13 in 2022. Speaking at the 50th anniversary conference of the Nigerian Association of Petroleum Explorationists, Commission Executive Lafayette said the agency's newly unveiled regulation plan is designed to serve both as a corrective and for attracting fresh capital into Nigeria's upstream sector. He explained that it aligns with the 10-year strategy of the NUPC, dismantling long-standing bottlenecks, introducing fiscally attractive frameworks, offshore, deep-water and gas-based investment, and delivering transparent and timely licensing rounds. According to Komola, the RAP is also called on the Petroleum Act, which ushers a new era of performance-based governance investor regimes. He added that beyond Nigeria's law in Africa's upstream sector, the commission will position as a prime global investor generating project levels and leveraging high-quality data to risk application. The Affairs Commission says it has removed 247 entities from its database established as limited liability firms. In an X post on Friday, the CAC declared that the firm's supposed registration numbers had not been granted to them and their names had been according to the CAC certificate numbers alleged associated never designed to entity. It urged the public to disregard any listed companies as legal entities. You're still watching the news on Atlantic Network, and up next is international today. European report three-way summits between President Volodymyr Zelensky, Russia's Vladimir, U.S. Trump, after a U.S.-Russia summit failed to President Mayors, UK Prime Minister Keir and European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen insisted on maintaining, including through sanctions. They insisted Moscow not to on Ukraine joining the European Union or NATO. It has made it clear not to tolerate membership of the, but the leaders said they were ready to a trilateral with the European support. Trump-Putin meeting in Alaska ended without the U.S. concrete commitment from Putin. Russia's Ukraine, launched in February 2022. It had easy diplomatic outreach to Putin, arguing Zelensky should have been the alliance. In a press statement, Starmer reports as bringing us closer than ever to ending Russia's illegal war in Ukraine. Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban, who has friendly ties with both Trump and Putin, hailed the summit. Here now is ATN Sports News. Wiki tourists have wrapped up the signing of Naziru Awalu ahead of the 2026 Nigeria Premier Football League season. The free transfer, he signed it to Abdullahi Maikabe's side. Millfield's Kano Pillars following the extension his contract at the end of last season. Awale played a crucial role in the heart of Wiki midfield. Wiki Plateau United in a match 1 fixture on Friday, 22nd August in Bauchi. Nigeria's The Tigers recorded an emphatic win over Tunisia in the 2025 Afro Basket, beating African 7-6 in a one on Friday. The Tigers began the game on the front foot and raced to a 0 lead with Houston Rockets star Georgie in the pitch in the one Pavia. In the Angolan capital. At the end of the quarter, the Tigers had 29 points against their opponent. Half ended Nigeria out nations 8 points, while the latter was 3. Stretch 48-47 in Nigeria. By the time the fourth over, the 25th basket champions had done the job, beating the Eagles of the 87-66. Nigeria fielded the strong line included Ike Nwamu, Gada, Ike Nwamu, Zana, Kadiori, Akobonu, Ehiogu, and Okoji against Tunisia. Came on the impressive 77-50 Madagascar earlier in the week and on top of the Group B lot. Newcastle to score without one-away striker Alexander as they were held in Aston. Villa played the plus stoppage time 10 men after Ezri Konsa was the but Isak missing as he tries to force a move to the Magpies were unable to find a and Anthony Gordon the best chance first half. Debutant Marco Bizot made a fine save to deny new 55 million euros, I beg your pardon, winger before Gordon planted a header over. The forward in place of Isak also tested as the guys failed to make their superiority count. Passive Villa fell short the first half. Premier League game Fulham against Manchester City in May 2024. But they emerged after renewed vigor. Boubacar Kamara headed at Nick Pope while Ollie Watkins shot straight at the but Konsa's red card back on as left the focus on Clayton onto and Kingston has been sentenced to 3.5 years in prison role in a $1 million fraud involving luxury. Kingston and Paul Anderson was convicted alongside his mother, Jane Turner, on charges of conspiracy to commit wire fraud and 4 counts. Turner was sentenced last month to 5 years in prison. Prosecutors said to high-value items, bulletproof Cadillac Escalade, which at a 19-foot LED television without paying for them. Court records showed that he presented falsified wire transfer receipts and lured sellers with promises of social media promotion. With Leo Bowitz, Kingston's immediate after Friday in a South Florida room, rejecting his lawyer's request for a delayed surrender to health issues. U.S. Mark Anton described him as a thief, accusing him of exploiting his fame to defraud victims over several years. Attorney Deli Bozanic argued that Kingston, now 35, financial began repaying victims. The singer and his mother were arrested in 2024 for watch raid on a mansion in Fort Lauderdale. Kingston, who was Florida and raised in Jamaica, fame at 17 with his 2007 hit "Beautiful." Singer Arista has expressed fear that her new hot body trend media could spark conspiracy theories. Hot body crooner said she hopes she doesn't get accused of being demonic due to the unconventional nature of the trend. Arista has been accused of promoting nudity with the trend, with singer J1 recently questioning her fashion sense and asking if she doesn't have parents to advise her. In 2023, Arista's label mate Rema was caught in the web of conspiracy theories after he was accused of using satanic Illuminati symbols while performing at his headline concert at London's O2 Arena on November 14, 2023. Addressing the allegations via his X handle, Rema explained that the artificial horse he rode on stage with was a replica of a Benin artifact, and the mask he wore was a replica of the famous Queen Idia mask. In an interview in March 2025, Rema also debunked allegations of being part of the Illuminati, worshipping the devil, and drinking blood. That's news for go major state pain on history is Tinubu vibration. See this import back whole new home. Court G for 1 million. You can Twitter, TV net, Facebook, and YouTube. Other television on network. Remember, unity part to have a
on the line, across to the land beyond the mountain, through heart, all news, live analysis, expert